Okay guys, so now we're going to learn about method overloading in Java. So let's create a new project for this. We'll call it overloading. Let's press create. Now I'll drag my code over here. So to demonstrate method overloading, let's just create a new class in source directory and we'll call it calculator, which is a common example. So let's just create a method to add two numbers. We've done this before previously in the series. If you haven't watched the rest of this series, go watch it. Anyways, let's create a method to add two numbers, right? And this is very, very simple. I'm going to go public integer, because we're returning an integer. We'll call it add. We are taking in two parameters, which are numbers, a and b. And what we want to do is return a plus b, semicolon, like that. That is our add function. Now, overloading is where we can have a class, i.e. our calculator class, have more than one method that has the same name, so long as they have different parameters. And it's a good way to perform different types of operations under the same method name, which can enhance the readability of our code, right? So let's say we wanted to be able to add three numbers instead of two numbers, because this one's only limited to two. Here's how we can overload the method with more parameters. So we'll go public int add, so we can make it the same name. We can go int a, int b, and int c, right? Create a method as normal. We can go return a plus b plus c. And that is perfectly valid, because these two methods might have the same names and same return types, but they have a different set of parameters, as you can see. Because obviously we can't have two methods that have the same name and same parameters, because we can only have one, right? So let's create one more. Let's say public int add, oops, int a, int b, int c, int d, int e. So we have quite a few numbers here, and what we'll do is return a plus b plus c plus d plus e, semicolon after that. And you guys get the gist. So we can have many different types of parameters. We can have that be, a string, etc, etc, etc. Obviously we want them all to be integers because we're adding things and we're calculating things. That's besides the point. All of these methods are the same name. They can do different things, and they can take in a different number of parameters as long as they are not the same. So, obviously this one adds 2, this one adds 3, this one adds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 integers. So, imagine like a multi-purpose kitchen appliance, right? We can have the same appliance, which in this case is the method name, but we can have it do many different things, right? It can perform different functions depending on what we want. So for example, we can have one for blending, grinding, chopping, etc. But we can have them all be the same name, because fundamentally they all do the same thing, but we can basically have a different set of parameters for each one. So we could have an add for integers, we could have an add for doubles, we could have an add for longs. They are all doing the same thing, but they take in a different set of parameters. And that's the key here with overloading. So, if we go to main, let's create a new calculator. So we'll just go like calculator equals new calculator, or a calculator dot, and then let's just say add, and let's say 1 and 2, 1 and 12, right? and press run, you will see that we obviously get nothing because we haven't printed this out. So we go system.out.print. Let's grab this stuff here and put it inside our print statement and then run it, and hopefully we'll get 13. Cool. Now we could add a third one in there, right? So we could go like comma 10. Now as you can see, there's a labeled ABC, reflective of this. So let's run that, and hopefully we'll get the right answer of all three of them added to each other, which is good. Now let's say we wanted to add a fourth, right? Let's say 400. You can see that we get an error here because in calculator, there's no add function that takes in 4. There's one that takes in 5 though, but there's not one that takes in 4. So obviously that doesn't exist. But if we add one more, like 100, as you can see, oops, shouldn't have a dot there. As you can see, now we've got 5 parameters. It's going to call this add function here. So they're all functions with the same name, but just taking a different set of parameters, and this is the whole point. So if we run this, we will get the functionality of this. So that is method overloading, or parameter overloading in Java. If you guys have any questions, please do comment down below. Hopefully that was a simple enough explanation. And I'll see you guys in the next one.